Let's wait and see how it goes. The first one, Martin Amidu's petition to the president. It's interesting because Martin Amidu has held the position of the OSP. So if he is raising complaints about the office of the OSP, it should be taken seriously.
He's done that from day one. Even before the man assumed office, when he was nominated.
Yes. So now if he has done a formal petition, because of his status as the, actually he's the first occupant of that office, it should be taken seriously. And the president has done the right thing by forwarding it to the Chief Justice, who now is going to establish if there's a good case, what the lawyers call prima facie, to proceed with the investigation. So that's all fine, as provided by the laws. You had mentioned the alacrity with which the presidency had forwarded this petition about the OSP to SHRAG. And that I suspect your use of alacrity, you have at the back of your mind that there has been other petitions.
At least 3.
That the president has not forwarded.
Yes.
With the same alacrity.
Yes.
As he's forwarded this one.
In fact, he has arrested those
petitions. But we would agree, initially, that this particular petition against the OSP is coming from somebody who cannot be said to be aligned or in some alignment with the president. So we can assume that in forwarding this petition, there is no, you cannot have any suspicion that this is some grand design to get rid of the OSP.
In fact, the other 3 were also submitted by people who are not aligned to the president.
Yes. Okay.
But they were against the appointees of the president.
Yes, and this one too is against an appointee of the president. But this business of the president forwarding petitions, is it automatic? Or the president himself, the office of the president himself, has to be convinced that this petition has some merit?
Well, when the Charlotte Osei one came, we're told that if you read the Constitution, the president is simply a conveyor belt. The Constitution says that when he receives it within a certain period, he has to submit it to the CJ. The CJ, within a certain period, must let the person against whom the petition is made see it and respond. Then within a certain period, the CJ must establish whether there's a prima facie case or not.
Who said the president is a conveyor belt?
Oh, I might have to look for all those who made that point. I might have to look for. There are quite a lot of people. Some of the people that we call legal luminaries and people who.
But has the presidency itself said it's a conveyor belt?
I might have to check. I'm not too sure about
that. Because, I mean, if it's just a conveyor, like a postmaster, he's delivering a parcel.
They say when you look at that article, nowhere does the Constitution provide the president with the right or the privilege to do anything other than forward upon
You shouldn't even read it.
Oh, well, it doesn't say he can read or cannot read. But it says that
as soon as you receive,
it says that when you receive, you read the thing. They say when you read it, what it says is that when he receives it, he has a period to submit it.
Okay.
It doesn't say that he must look at it, and if he is satisfied.
No,
unlike the CJ, where the article speaks about he writing to the person, receiving a response, determining prima facie before then constituting a panel. So the president is not giving that.
Yeah. So in this case, the president is just delivering the parcel. But because he's been given 6 days, we can reasonably assume that he must look at the petition.
He's not been given 6 days. I think
that's what
it's 7 days.
7 days.
But he did it in 6 days.
So if he's been given 7 days or 6 days, I think we can fairly assume that the framers of the Constitution intend that the presidency should look at the petition before forwarding. But if it's just mere forwarding, I mean 6 days, 7 days to merely forward a petition from Jubilee House.
Just in case there's a casual traffic.
Traffic cannot last for 3 days. And in the first, the president, they always have dispatch rights. So if it's just merely delivering the petition, it could be done in 1 hour or less. Yes. Just get a dispatch rider. Yes. And they drive through the streets to the Supreme Court, to the office of the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice says, I have received this petition from the AE there, and that's it. But obviously, if you look at the wording, the petition is supposed to be looked at by the president to do some gatekeeping before it is forwarded.
They argue that, those who hold the conveyor belt position, they argue that if that were the intent of the Constitution, it would have been clear. And they cite examples. For example, in the same article, the CJ, it's clear what the CJ should do. So you receive it, send the thing to whoever the complaint is made against. Upon receipt, determine a prima facie. If you determine, then you set up a committee. Now, if the framers of the Constitution intended for the president to make a determination before forwarding, it would have said so.
Okay.
So, for example, what we were discussing a few weeks ago, the impasse between Parliament and Executive, that it is clear that when the president receives it, if he has a reason to not to assent, he can do ABCD. So their point is that to the extent that the Constitution doesn't... the
president has no say in the matter.
That was the argument they made.
But if...
And I listened as a student.
You cannot be a student.
I always
You have 2 PhDs.
I always learn.
You have 2 PhDs.
Oh, no, not 2.
But you see, those who make that argument would have to answer as to why the Constitution appointed the president as a postboy. Because I mean, basically they say that the president is a postboy. You get it. You receive this thing. Oh, this is a petition from Randy Abbey. Oh, then he has to go to...
one of the petitioners whose petition was not conveyed, Prince Derek J. He sent this one. It says, Akomea Yaopong, Director of Law School. He's just been nominated to the Appeals Court. Yes. It says, Akomea Yaopong, Samson Ladia Yinini, and Kofi Bentil of Occupy Ghana said the president is only a conveyor belt in such Article 146 petition cases.
Now, these are people who should know their stuff. But I have a simple question for them. That's why I ask you categorically that this business of conveyor belt, has it come from the presidency? Or is from people who are giving their own interpretation? Because if you are giving that interpretation that the president is merely a postboy, you have to answer as to why the Constitution would appoint the president as a postboy. Because Martin Amidu or any of the petitioners could then directly take the petition to the Chief Justice. Why do they have to travel to Jubilee House? And in no Jubilee House, you can't just travel there.
Somebody is accusing you of having also said that the president is only a conveyor belt.
Me.
He says I should check the archives, but you also said it.
So, they have to answer as to why the Constitution of Ghana would appoint the president of Ghana as a postboy who merely has to deliver a post. It cannot be. It cannot be. Because the petitioner could just take the petition to the Chief Justice, who has the power to establish whether there is a good case to establish an investigative committee. If the president has no input at all into the matter, why would the Constitution appoint him as postboy? And that, Randy, you have a petition about the conduct of a public official like the special prosecutor. you can take it to the Chief Justice, who has the power to determine if your petition has enough merit to proceed, isn't it? Why would the Constitution direct you to go through Jubilee House? And we all know that going through Jubilee House, it's more difficult than going to the Supreme Court. look at the imposing security infrastructure at Jubilee House. That you have to pass through all of that, and the layers of secretaries and officials before it gets to the office of the president. Why would they require you to go through all of that? So that the president can then give it to a dispatcher to take it away. When you can go directly to the chief, I'm going to the chief.
So apparently, when it comes to the removal of the OSP, it's not on the basis of 146. It's actually Section 15 of the OSP Act.
Okay.
Okay, and this is what it states. A person who seeks to remove the special prosecutor from office shall submit a petition to the president. Where the president receives a petition, that's 3. Where a president receives a petition for the removal of the special prosecutor, the president shall within 7 days refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall within 30 days determine whether there's a prima facie case. Where the Chief Justice determines that there's a prima facie case, the Chief Justice shall within 14 days set up a committee consisting of A, a chairperson who is the Justice of the Supreme Court, B, a lawyer of at least 15 years standing at the bar, and C, one other person with expertise in investigations. 5, the committee shall within 90 days investigate the matter and make its recommendation to the president through the Chief Justice. 6, the president shall act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee.
Yeah, but this is no different from what we've been saying. That
but this one says that where the president receives a petition for the removal of the special prosecutor, the president shall, so it's mandatory, within 7 days, send it. Now, does 146 also say the president shall?
Yes, it's virtually the same thing.
Well, what is it saying?
This is 1462. A justice of the Superior Court of Judicature or a chairman of the regional tribunal may only be removed in accordance with the procedure specified in this article if the president receives a petition. That's 3, 1463. If the president receives a petition for the removal of a justice of a superior court other than the Chief Justice, or for the removal of the chairman of a regional tribunal, he shall refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall determine whether there is a prima facie case. So it's virtually a lifting. It's also a shall.
So it's mandatory.
So in that case, the president has been appointed as a postboy.
Yes, it's mandatory.
Yes.
Yes.
But as soon as he receives it, within 6 days, he must dispatch it.
Yes.
Why did they make the president a postboy?
So the question is that why hasn't the president done his postboy duties?
Because obviously he doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't.
So the president now, it's obvious that he picks and chooses what to when to respect the constitution and when not to respect the constitution.
Because obviously the president doesn't believe that he's a postboy. He believes that the requirement that the thing passes through his office implies that he has an.
Let's say upon receipt he shall.
This is one of the cases that we have to resolve through constitutional drafting. Because why would anybody require a petitioner? A petitioner who is petitioning. So who are you petitioning? Are you petitioning the president or are you petitioning the chief justice?
It's probably because at the end of the process, the president will have to act. The recommendations come back to the president.
In fact, if you read it,
when you read,
the president cannot even vary.
But you don't need for him. All the Chief Justice has to inform him is that we've received this thing and we are working on it, or we've done this work and this is the findings. Why would you, the petitioner, Randy, be required to go to Jubilee House and be able to move your way to the office of the president to deliver a petition when you can just go to the Chief Justice? You know, so and then from what Sami is reading, he says not he may,
no, shall.
He shall.
Yes.
He shall.
That means
so that's where the conveyor belt argument comes from.
And why is the president the conveyor belt?
As for that one,
you
boycotted.
So in that case, who boycotted?
And
Boycotted what?
and you see, and
the constitutional drafting, so you are
Which
unable to
people?
tell us.
Me?
You.
Yeah.
No. What are you talking about?
Oh, you boycotted the draft.
You mean you want to say you? Who? Me?
You, Nana.
Me directly. When they were doing that thing, I was barely out of school. So who are you talking about? My party?
I thought you were after school.
My party? But when they were doing
your tradition, make it tradition. It's ideological tradition.
When they were doing
but you know, on the matter of the prima
when
facie
they
case,
were
it's
doing
for the
that,
Chief Justice to determine.
my party hadn't been formed.
Yeah, that's why I use tradition. Yeah.
No, but there are people like Safu Mafu who, if you say tradition, were part. So even that one, it doesn't wash. But there's an interesting problem that we have on our hands.
But why is it a problem? The president must be a servant leader at some point.
So you should deliver your pass.
At some point, it's to put him in the know. Must he always be the one giving instructions?
So now you have the situation where the presidency is being put in a position where it can be accused of discrimination. Because you've said that there are 2 or 3 petitions.
Yes.
You mentioned the chap, what's his name?
Prince Derek Ajay.
He's petitioned the president about what?
His was about former CJ, Sophia, her lordship.
He did a petition against the Chief Justice,
Chief Justice
herself.
Yes. Over land issues.
There's a problem because these petitions would have to be determined by the Chief Justice before he can proceed. Now, if you are petitioning against the Chief Justice...
but in that case, there's a...
When it's about the Chief Justice,
there's a different procedure.
There's a different procedure.
Yeah.
Then there were two against the current Electoral Commission boss. There were 2.
Okay.
One...
and those ones, so the president didn't forward.
He hasn't.
So then, we have to find out why. If the president is shall, Parliament can help us in this.
How?
Or they can file an urgent question.
For who to answer? The president?
No, there are people working in the office of the president.
Or the Attorney General?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we need clarity on the matter. I do not take the view that the president is merely a delivery boy, a delivery office. I mean, the office of the president is a delivery office.
The Constitution says when you receive, you shall.
You shall.
Yes.
Yes. So there are petitions before the office that have not been delivered.
Yes.
So then you open up the president to charges of discrimination.
So you see, when is the Chief Justice? The president has a more greater role.
Okay.
He's more involved. So 1466 says that where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice, the president shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint a committee consisting of 2 justices of the Supreme Court, one of whom shall be appointed chairman by the president, and 3 other persons who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers. Yeah.
Because the Chief Justice.
Yes. So in the case of the Chief Justice, the president
but in this case,
really takes the lead.
Who the president is not Chief Justice, the president should merely deliver.
Except that the president also then waits for the outcome, and then he acts on the recommendation of the committee.
Yeah, but he shall deliver.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I've gotten this petition that I should remove this person. Get it and look at it.
Yeah. And it's for the Chief Justice to determine if there is a prima facie.
Okay, so a lawyer, Nana says, the framers of the Constitution probably thought that the person being sought to be removed is an appointee or a president. And so it's only proper that the president is made aware of the petition.
By having him deliver.
Yeah. And
they know that he won't personally deliver.
His office.
And you know, to the extent that the president also acts at the end of the process. So it's good to let him know about it. He should be in the picture.
And the way to let him know is to have him deliver.
Yeah,
but but so in this case, those petitions which Randy, you have mentioned about 2 that the president hasn't forwarded. Then there's an issue as to why.
Maybe the post office was on strike at the time.
So maybe you have to ask the Attorney General for aid, or somebody must seek an interpretation. Because it's a very funny situation.
So the president, is pretty obvious by conduct that the president chooses which petition. He picks and chooses which ones he has an interest and should be forwarded, and which ones he has an interest and shouldn't be forwarded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although
the
it is
provision
clear.
is a shall. Yeah.
What do you mean it has an interest?
No,
he probably doesn't see the merits of.
Yeah, but that's not for him to determine.
Where,
It's
But
also-
where is it? You see, the
The
issue
merit
of,
issues, the
the issue
prima
of
facie
fairness,
issues.
if you read the thing,
Yeah.
the establishment of prima facie
Yeah.
is vested in the CJ.
Yeah.
Which presupposes that the framers of a constitution do not expect
Yeah.
the president to establish a prima facie and
Yeah.
therefore decide to forward or otherwise.
Yeah.
So it is pretty obvious that who the constitution places the responsibility of establishing a prima facie or otherwise is the Chief Justice,
Yeah.
not the president.
Yes.
So the president cannot decide not to forward,
So
even
why-
if he finds it unmeritorious.
Yes, but you see, that's what I'm saying. That. So why put the president in the picture at all?
That's what Dan we can't answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a difficult because
it's already been done.
he,
so
he
you have
has nothing
conduct
to
yourself.
do with the matter. He only comes in when the Chief Justice has gone through the processes and there's a report that's forwarded to the president. So why would put him in the middle of the delivery?
I'm sure that you
Why
go and
put it
look
in the
at it
middle?
and you find that maybe they even picked it up from either a previous constitution or
And
from
didn't think
or
into
elsewhere.
that.
You know,
Somebody should seek an interpretation.
but there's no problem with the president
Because you see, Randy,
being a servant once in a while.
but Randy, the danger is that the president will receive 200 petitions.
Just forward them. Yes. So the part of the CJ's job is to establish prima facie in petitions.
So the president should just forward.
Just forward them. That's what the constitution says you should do.
Yeah.
But
So
why-
because you see now, if you forward petition A
and
and you don't forward petition B, how do you do you get what I'm saying? How do you justify
I think, and this is my last point on the matter. Clearly, this is one of the issues that we have to get interpretation.
interpretation? Is it not clear?
No.
It's clear. It says he shall.
If it's clear,
Yeah.
then why are some forwarded and some not forwarded? Because obviously the president or the office of the president believes that it's not a conveyor belt.
But is it about what they believe?
But that's what is
That thing
happening.
is in black and white.
Yeah, but that is what is happening. Isn't
So,
it?
now my little worry is that you see, when I hear you, when you say that the president cannot just be a conveyor belt, and that when the president receives the thing, if you look at even the 7 days and others, he obviously would be
Has to look at
expected to look at it
Yeah.
and determine whether it is meritorious or not. I hear you on that. But interestingly, that article deals with the establishment of prima facie, which is what you believe that the 6-day period should be what the president is expected to do.
Yeah.
However, the same article
Yeah.
deals with the issue
Yeah.
of prima facie.
Yeah.
So the article recognizes
and
that.
vests that responsibility
Yes.
in
Yes.
The
another
article recognizes
official.
that that must be established.
Yeah.
However,
By another office.
yeah, but however,
office.
it does not leave that with the president.
Yeah.
Yes.
It gives that to the CJ.
Yes.
So once that is given to the CJ, it means that the president's jurisdiction, as far as that determination is concerned, is ousted by the constitution.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he cannot.
So now,
Yeah.
the question then is, those other petitions that were not forwarded, what you said, the president has breached the law.
Yeah, it was just not respecting the constitution.
Okay. But I'm saying that why are we going to allow that to fester? So let's seek an interpretation. No, because what you have on our hands is that some petition, according to you, you know of 3.
Yes,
So it could even be more.
it could be.
So why are we allowing that situation to continue? Why is the presidency forwarding some and not forwarding some?
But they should tell us. When they disagreed with Parliament.
Well, the question has not been that. So I said either we ask the Attorney General why, because that's the president's lawyer, or we seek an interpretation that delivery is the president merely a conveyor belt, or he's supposed to sieve,
Sammy, please ask that
the-
question on my behalf.
or he's supposed to sieve.
Please.
So this is one of the issues that we need to because it's
But
problematic.
as for this one, it's English. It's not even law.
Yes.
Eh.
But obviously, it is being subject to interpretations. Some interpret it that, look, you shall forward. But once it hasn't been forwarded, it means somebody there thinks differently. That's why it hasn't been forwarded.
Somebody just can't be bothered. They just-
Or it's merely negligence.
Not negligent. I mean, they can't be bothered.
So, and these are weighty constitutional matters.
Yeah.
And you don't want the presidency to be accused of discrimination.
Yes.
when from the simple reading, it doesn't have that option.
Because even from a governance, Nana, even from a transparency point of view and a good governance point of view, to the extent that the Constitution has provided for an office holder to determine the prima facie, let it go there and let the office holder determine that this petition is frivolous.
I agree with you.
So at least the presidency is not. So when you have removed one, you have forwarded for one commissioner to be removed, and then you have appointed a commissioner, and there are 2 petitions against the commissioner, and you fail to do what the Constitution says you do and what you did in the case of a previous commissioner. How do you expect any fair-minded, I don't want to say right-thinking, but any fair-minded person to believe that you are acting in a very fair...
But in this instance that we are talking about, it's also against somebody appointed by the president. So, really. But for me, there's a difficulty. And we shouldn't allow constitutional difficulties to fester. Because clearly, from the reading that Samia has provided, the president is supposed to merely convey, not to do anything else about it. But then he's been given 6 days or 7 days to do that conveyance. Why would they give him 7 days to convey a petition? Even if there's traffic, the president has a dispatch. Even there's TC, we have a dispatch. So why would they give him 7 days? So I'm saying there is some difficulty in that particular clause.
Is there difficulty in the clause or the difficulties in the conduct of the person who is supposed to respect the Constitution?
There's a difficulty in the clause because the clause says the president shall, but it gives me 7 days.
Yes.
Now merely forwarding a petition to the chief, that should not be given 7 days.
He's president. You don't want to appear to be rushing in. They may want to do a cover letter that find attached a petition we have received. Treating him with some dignity.
But I mean, you'd agree that we have to seek proper interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, especially looking at the apparent selectivity.
Yes.
Yes. It's a good call. And the president hasn't held matters by not being consistent. If you are conveyor belt, just be conveyor belt. You receive it. Fortunately, within the process, you have a sifting opportunity with another office, the Chief Justice.
You would agree that
the Chief
clearly,
Justice will look at
the merit. You would agree that clearly the office of the president doesn't believe it's a conveyor belt. Obviously.
What they should tell us. But if that's their belief, then it would appear to...
Otherwise, why have they forwarded to
the president is a post boy because he's also the sole appointing authority. It is also to draw his attention of the process undertaken by his appointee. The buck stops with him after a decision of the Supreme Court, since it was authority that can appoint or disappoint.
Yes.
But
and he acts on the recommendation.
Yes. But his acting on the recommendation should not be due. You shouldn't make him a delivery boy. What is a delivery boy?
Okay, so
in the matter of acting on the recommendation?
Even if you disagree
with what?
With the president being made a delivery boy or post boy, even if you disagree, that is what the Constitution says.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you swear an oath to abide by the Constitution, you play your role as post boy until that particular part of the Constitution is amended.
Let me tell you one thing. What the Constitution says is not what is on the paper.
I don't understand.
What the Constitution says is what is interpreted by the Supreme Court.
I don't get it.
Yeah. When there has been an interpretation.
Yes.
In this matter, there's no interpretation by the Supreme Court.
There's no basis for an interpretation.
No.
There's
no, listen.
Is there any interpretation contrary to what is on the face of this?
This is tried knowledge. What the Constitution says is what is interpreted by the Supreme Court. That's a basic fact.
No, but that only arises when there is
no. But now there's an issue.
What is the issue?
The issue is that your reading of what the clause says And obviously, the president's reading is different. It's different.
Well, the president hasn't said.
Uh-huh.
The president of the presidency hasn't said that he's not a conveyor belt. They haven't said that the understanding of the constitution is that the president must serve and establish whether there is a basis to submit or not. Yes.
But
so why are you creating a conflict?
No. But no, the bottom line, what I'm saying is a basic fact. That what the constitution says is how the Supreme Court interprets it. In this case, the president hasn't said it's a conveyor belt, but his actions show that it's not a conveyor belt. Otherwise, those 3 petitions or 4 that you are talking about
in my view, his action shows that he's not abiding by the oath of office he took. He's not respecting the constitution.
Okay.
That's my reading of it.
And if the president is not respecting the constitution, why are we sitting down and looking? Why are we sitting down and looking?
What do you expect me to do?
No, I'm not you.
Yes. No, I am speaking. So when you say that, it's like you expect me to do something else.
No, I'm saying, why are we? So it's not you. I'm saying, why are we sitting down and looking? If the president is breaking the constitution, why are we sitting down and looking? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so we shouldn't leave these matters.
Okay.
And obviously, there is some interpretation needed, whether the president is merely a conveyor belt, if that's the intention of merely a conveyor belt, or he's also supposed to do some sieving. And obviously, the president believes that there has to be some sieving. Because otherwise,
but the law is clear on who should do the sieving. That's the point I make to you.
Yes. Then why pass it through the president? And why give him 7 days? So the president can say that by giving me 7 days, by asking the petition to pass through my office, me, the presidency, I cannot be a post boy. And by giving me 7 days, I'm supposed to look at it and then decide to forward.
But so is it what you think or what the Constitution says?
But what the Constitution says is not what you and I think. It's what the Supreme Court thinks. That's what I'm saying. There has to be an interpretation.
Right.
Anytime there's conflicts of thinking, you have to go to the Supreme Court.
Okay. Right.
Otherwise, to start, Samuel Kujetoku asked a question of the Attorney General to come and explain why the presidency hasn't forwarded this and that petition and why he has forwarded this and that petition.
Okay.